Hey everybody, it's Devin.
And Kate.
Welcome to Med Crimes.
Bow, 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 bow.
We're back.
We missed you guys. It feels like it's been a long time, but it's been like, what, 5 weeks? 5 weeks?
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. When I was getting ready today and I was thinking about tonight, knowing it was recording day and how everybody was so excited, like when we kind of put like our little promo out there, I feel like this is season 2.
I
know they're episodes, right? Number one,
yeah,
blah,
but
blah, blah, blah.
people operate in seasons too, so
Yeah.
that does make sense.
Welcome to season 2 of Med Crimes. Yeah.
It will not say season 2 on your episodes.
We missed you guys just as much as you missed us.
We really did.
We did.
It
yeah.
felt very, I felt like I was forgetting to do something.
Right?
Like for
Although
weeks and
I was
weeks.
not, because part of this hiatus was just a lot of changes for you over the last 5 weeks.
I had to have a medical procedure done and then recover from that, but now I'm like back to it and loving life.
That's not the only thing.
No. Can
We're
we tell them?
coworkers.
We're coworkers.
We're coworkers.
So there
Kate
was
had a job
transition.
change.
Yeah, it's been a busy month for Kate and Devin.
Kate is now the provider where I work. So,
Yeah.
yay! I was hoping that some of my crazy busyness that had just really kind of started before we took our hiatus was going to be done. That's not really the case.
No.
So I did not have the feeling that I was forgetting to do something because I don't really have a lot of those times to, But anyway, hopefully soon mine will calm down a little bit.
That's what we're hoping. And Devin, even though she's been so insanely busy, you guys can't even imagine how busy she's been. She has found the time to put together an episode for today.
I did. Don't ask me how that happened. Don't ask me how I found the chance.
It was Med Crimes Magic.
I think I was just Med Crimes Magic. That's hashtag. I think I was just so excited and passionate about this story that I was like, I got to put this together because it's kind of blowing up the healthcare field right now.
It is. So this will be
it was just
really cool.
We can't. I was like, we have to start with this. It's the first thing out of the gate. I know you and I kind of like sent different things to each other on what we thought we should do. But once this came out, I was like, this is happening. This is happening.
Yeah, and so this one's a really cool, good one for Devin to do. And it's like she said, has been crazy in the media. So I'm excited to learn more about it because I read some articles, but I was obviously very distracted during this time, so I didn't really get to dive into it.
It's also nice, though, for our first episode out. Excuse me, I turned my head away from my mic.
Damn,
and
Devin.
I've learned these things. It's season 2. Get your shit together, Devin. It's also nice that this one... There's no death. Sometimes our stories are so deep.
Yes, this one is less dark and
not
definitely
dark.
not gory.
It is fucked up.
It is.
But it is not dark.
So that's nice. It'll be a nice sort of transition back into Med Crimes Magic.
So first up, I think we have some new Patreons.
We sure do. Back and better than ever is Sarah.
Welcome back, Sarah. Next, we have David Grout.
David Grout. Is he like the 5th or 6th David Grout to join our
Dude,
Patreon?
there are so many Davids in this world. This is the 2nd David Grout Patreon. However, he is also... He's just David Grout Sr.
Okay.
That is who he is.
Okay.
And you know what? He's spending his retirement money wisely by being a Patreon.
Yes, he very, very well is.
Thanks,
Thank
Dad.
Thanks, Devin's dad. Oh, God, you guys are the bomb. And then finally we have Susan Wissner. Welcome
Welcome to the family, everyone. First Patreons of season 2.
Yes, ma'am. You guys are fiery, ferocious dragons just dicking around in the sky.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
Yep.
We've left the woodland area.
Yeah.
And we're
I mean,
now
this
up
is
to
over the woodlands.
we're in medieval.
No, this is over the woodlands.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Medieval woodlands. Mm-hmm. Okay. So everyone, without further ado, we are going to talk about Operation Nightingale. For those of you that have not heard about what Operation Nightingale is, it is the U.S. government discovery of 7,600, I repeat, 7,600 fake nursing degrees.
So that's not only like astounding, it's terrifying that this happened on such a scale.
It's insane.
It's wild.
It's wild. It's insane. And for all of you people who went through nursing school, I hope this pisses you off just as much as it does us.
100%. And anybody who's been a nurse, worked as a nurse, knows how incredibly valuable your education is.
You kind of need it.
You kind of need that every single day with almost every single task you do.
So for those that haven't heard about this, on Wednesday, January 25th, which is not long ago, 10 days ago, maybe?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General launched a multi-state coordinated law enforcement action to apprehend individuals engaged in a scheme to sell false and fraudulent nursing degree diplomas and transcripts.
So that literally means people that did not have the proper schooling were handed a diploma and transcript.
So I'm going to read this brief statement and then we'll kind of recap.
Go.
So with the selling of the fake fraudulent nursing degrees, this, and of course I'm going to say right now alleged because they've been charged but not, found guilty yet. Mm-hmm. So it allowed these people to obtain these degrees from accredited Florida nursing-based nursing schools. These are for people who wanted to be RNs and licensed practical nurses. So a registered nurse, a licensed practical nurse, or a vocational nurse, depending on what your state is in. These individuals acquired the degrees, which were bogus, the bogus nursing credentials, and used them to qualify to sit for the National Nursing Board exam. So when you want to be a nurse and you want to work as a nurse, you don't just have to go to school.
Nope.
You have to go to school from an accredited program. You have to pass said school, get your diploma, and then even then you're still not a nurse. You have a nursing degree, but then you have to take a licensing test, no matter what state you're in. So to be able to sit for this license test, you have to take your transcript, take your degree, your diploma. You have to put it all in an application, and that gets verified before you're even allowed to take the test. So these people were allowed to take the test by submitting all of their bogus credentials. So upon successful completion of the board exam, these applicants were then eligible to obtain licensure in various states. Once licensed, they were able to obtain employment in the healthcare field. All of these schools are now closed. Some of these people, I believe I read 25% of the 7,600 people actually passed the NCLEX, which is the
wild.
licensing test to get your license. It's the test you have to take, the bane of all of our existence, who's taken it and passed it.
And this is an incredibly difficult exam.
Yes.
And this is not one of those things where you could, potentially study for a day or two and pass.
It involves reasoning.
Yes.
Not just, yes or no answers.
No.
Not just right or wrong.
No.
But like
picking the best answer
all
when
of them
all
are
of them
right.
are right.
Which one's the most right?
Exactly right.
Right?
Very
So,
difficult test.
25% of these people did actually pass and got to work and have licenses.
Blows my mind. They must have attended a very strong NCLEX prep class or something.
Yep. That is, so when I have the charges, I'm talking about some of these schools that are closed. The schools that I'm talking about are the actual schools that signed like the diplomas. But there was a lot of list of schools and everyone's like, oh, it's not just Florida. This one's from this state. those were all like CEU type online schools or schools for NCLEX prep.
Gotcha. So not degree programs.
Not degree programs.
I see. Okay.
Not accredited nursing schools.
Thanks for clearing that up.
You're welcome. So even though all of these schools were in Florida, it has like encapped 5 different states.
Wow.
So Delaware, New York, New Jersey, Texas, and Florida are where some of these, all these, I'll call them the defenders, the defendants, the people that were charged. So far, 25 people have been arrested in this scheme, and they're spread all over those 5 states.
Wow.
These potential quote unquote nurses are everywhere. They're now potentially working everywhere. But I think I read somewhere, and I mentioned it further down, but I'll say it now. Out of the 7,600 people that took their diploma to apply for the test, all but one person listed their place of residency as Florida.
Really?
All but one. So 7,599 of them have Florida residencies.
Wow.
So
that's wild.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So for some of our non-nursing people out there, in case you want to know why it's called Operation Nightingale, I mean, I got the name right away.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's pretty clear. But I kind of just wanted to be like, let's talk about Flo, right? She's like our heroine, I guess you could say, in the nursing industry.
She pioneered nursing.
Yes.
She really did.
So it was named after her, Florence Nightingale. She's like all of our BFFs. She has a lasting contribution for her role in founding the modern nursing profession. She is the reason why nursing is known what it is today. She set an example of compassion, commitment to patient care, and diligent and thoughtful hospital administration. The first official nurses training program was her Nightingale School for Nurses, and this opened in 1860.
And
so that's over
incredible.
150 years ago. Right now, it's called the Florence Nightingale Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery at King's College, London.
That's wild. And my understanding is that some of the principles that she brought forth were that nurses who essentially for a period of time were like anybody who could just like walk in off the street and get some training and work in a hospital and be somewhat of like an orderly.
Right.
And she sort of took that and was like, no, we're all going to have a lot of pride in our profession. We're going to expand that scope of practice, and we're all going to be, this is going to require a degree and a certain amount of medical knowledge.
Yes.
She also pioneered cleanliness, and she was someone who in times where there was mass illnesses like TB and other pandemics, epidemics going around, she was the one that said all these patients need clean linens and they need to bathe and we need to open the windows and do fresh air. Nobody else was thinking like
and
this.
that's something that I was going to get to a little bit when we were talking. No. It like the connection to now is when you're a nurse, you're not just like listening to theory. You're not just studying in a book. We have so much practical clinical skills that we need to learn, which a lot of it, a huge percentage of it is like involves infection control, sterility, all of those things that she pioneered from the beginning. A few more basic, little bit of knowledge things about her. So there's a Florence Nightingale Medal. It's awarded every 2 years to nurses or nursing aides for outstanding service. It's the highest international distinction a nurse can achieve and is awarded to the nurses or aides who have exceptional courage and devotion to the wounded, sick, or disabled, or to civilian victims of a conflict or disaster, or exemplary services or a creative and pioneering spirit in the areas of public health or nursing education. We all know, you see it a lot of time on social media, but we know in our profession, we have a Nurses Day every year. International Nurses Day came in 1965, and it's celebrated on her birthday, which is May 12th. So May 12th every year is National Nurses Day.
May 12th. I got to put that on my calendar.
May 12th. I actually didn't know that it was her birthday,
I didn't.
which I feel
think
ashamed.
did know
I feel
that.
like I should have known.
I feel like I've heard that in the past.
And so the last little piece that I wanted to mention about her is the Nightingale Pledge, and this might bring some of you back to your graduation. So that everyone knows, like we say all the time, doctors take an oath, right? Well, so do nurses. Doctors take the Hippocratic Oath on do no harm. Nurses, we take the Nightingale Pledge. It's given, so typically when you graduate in nursing school, you have your pinning ceremony. We all get nursing pins, and we take our Nightingale Pledge. It was created in 1893, obviously named after Nightingale, as who is our founder, and it's a pledge on statement of ethics and principles of the nursing profession. I'm going to get to the actual pledge later. So, how did all of this start, right?
Yeah.
Like, what tipped the government off?
Yeah.
What tipped them off to be like, I think there's some crazy shit going on down in Florida?
I want to know. When is there not crazy shit going on down in Florida?
We love you, Florida.
We love you.
We love to travel down there. You are so nice and warm because, first of all, we got to go on this tangent. New Hampshire hit a record today.
So cold, you guys.
We hit a record today, a record low in the United States of negative 108 degrees with the wind chill on top of Mount Washington.
This was the second coldest place on Earth at the time. Second only to somewhere in Alaska.
But it's and with that, on the coldest day of the year, we're in the basement, first of all.
And my furnace stopped working last night. So anyway, it's been a great
Lucky,
24 hours.
Lucky Kate.
Continue.
So what brought them to all of this, right?
Yes.
Apparently, it's been in looking at ratios and different things happening, like, nursing is very statistics, and especially when you're looking at pass rates and picking out schools, well, all of a sudden it's like, wow, these schools have really low pass rates for the NCLEX. And that's always something that a lot of schools, like, you're looking at those things when you're picking a school, right?
Yes,
what's their
course.
pass rate?
Yep.
Is their program good enough that I'm going to be part of that?
Because don't programs get shut down if they don't have a certain pass rate by the government, right? There's a government body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready? So
I'm ready.
On average, the pass rate for a school, an accredited nursing school in the country, is high 80s to low 90s. So anywhere between 88 and 92%. That's pretty damn good, right? So you go to a school with one of those, you have an 88 to 92% chance to pass the NCLEX on your first try. Florida, unfortunately, is typically lower in those statistics as you rank. And the average for Florida is around 60.
I see.
Okay. However, the pass rates for these schools, 11,
Oh, wow.
8%.
Okay.
So significantly
Obviously,
low that
huge
it's
problem.
like, I mean, yeah. So I said, what? I said 7,600 people and 25% passed on the first time. So that's, I don't know, quick math. Like less than 2,000 people, and when you're looking at that, it's pretty significant.
Yes, it is. It's huge.
So the pass rates were really low.
Like tiny. Wow.
So that was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on
Little
down
bit.
there? And what do we got to figure out? So I've said I'm going to get to the charges shortly. But so there's 25 people that have been arrested and charged with this. Right now, there's not a lot of what's known about the people who have these licenses,
Sure.
right? That
Yeah.
didn't actually graduate from nursing school.
Okay.
But some stuff is starting to come out. There's one nurse in Kentucky who was identified to have a fake diploma. That nurse is currently still working. I guess, and now it's really hard because every state has different laws. So there's, in that state, in Kentucky, you can't suspend the license until there's a hearing.
Oh, okay.
So it's just this person's been identified. Delaware has annulled 26 fake nursing licenses
Oh, okay.
when they found those. There is an appeal available. That just seems odd. Like, if it's fake, you didn't have the right to be a nurse anyway.
Exactly.
And about a dozen nurses or so in Oregon are under investigation as well. And in the area, so they're under investigation, not fully identified yet. Arizona stated that any nurse that they identify as being a potential like fake diploma, they're gonna flag their credentials.
Flag them in that this will
In
be
that
like,
it puts an alert, but they're not gonna
like
do
for
much.
hiring. Okay. Yeah.
It might be for hiring, or like it might just be flagged like
Like
hey,
with the board of nursing.
take a second look.
Yeah.
But it's still not like a disciplinary
Yeah,
thing.
it's not.
Derogatory.
Right.
So
And so there are a lot of nurses out there that are working that may have passed the NCLEX, but did
Didn't go
not
to school.
receive a nursing education.
some stuff on social media, they're like, well, they're nurses. They passed the test to get their license.
No, see, that's where I
You have
disagree
to
with
go
you.
to school. You have to go to school.
You need so another really valuable thing that happens as in nursing school is clinical time and clinical
Yes.
hours and bedside experience, and you don't get that for studying for a few weeks and taking an NCLEX prep
No,
course
you
and
don't.
passing a test.
So, shortly we'll talk about what they missed in
Right,
nursing
yeah.
school,
Okay.
and we can kind of talk about those nitty gritty details. So, right now in the Southern District of Florida, these individuals that have been charged are alleged to have participated in a wire fraud scheme that created the illegal licensing, illegal diplomas. Now, I mean, I know we're in a huge nursing shortage.
Sure.
Pre-pandemic, and and COVID didn't do anything to help that. It made it 10 times worse.
Sure
But
did.
and I'm all for strategic, smart, creative ways to help get new nurses and to
100%.
help our staffing.
Uh-huh.
But I'd like an actual nurse, like not a fake one.
If it were my mom in a hospital bed and this person who, was just hired and didn't actually go to nursing school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like how I can't imagine how I would feel
Nope.
knowing that.
Nope.
Like you have no education, and do you realize how every nurse literally routinely holds a life in their hands
I mean,
with many
let's
many
talk about it in
tasks?
different professions, right? Do you want to go to a restaurant where the cook hasn't passed food safety
No, exactly.
and we're going to get food poisoning?
It's 10 times more dangerous than that.
Of course, but this is like a simple example that is, that
It's a
just
good
brings
example.
it together. And it could be for any profession, right?
100%. Yep.
Do you want to have a teacher teaching your children that never did the student teaching? It's their first time in the classroom, not having a clue what to do.
Do you want somebody advising you on what to do with your life savings and investment who's not a CPA or a financial advisor and just took a YouTube course? Nope. I don't want that.
So, I have 3 recently unsealed indictments that came from the South Florida grand jury. These were filed by the prosecutors. These defendants engaged in a scheme, allegedly, to sell fraudulent nursing diplomas to obtain them to be able to seek their license, like we've already said. So it qualified for them to sit and take the test. The nursing schools that I have are Siena College in Broward County, Florida, Palm Beach School of Nursing, and that is in Palm Beach County,
Okay.
and Sacred Heart International Institute, which is in Broward County, Florida. All of these schools are closed.
Good.
This scheme is alleged to have generated, ready?
Oh, God.
Alleged to have generated more than $100 million over several years.
This is combined.
Between
Wow.
all 7,600.
Oh, my God.
It's alleged that they were charged approximately around $15,000 apiece for their fake degree.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
First
First of all, I'm pissed that it's that low. Okay.
Exactly.
I mean, because
Same.
nursing school is effing expensive.
Yes, actual nursing school is very expensive.
If I was able to go to nursing school for $15,000, my student loans would have been gone a
same.
decade ago.
Absolutely same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Each defendant is facing potentially up to 20 years in prison.
Wow.
Up to 20 years. So this is wire fraud for transferring money. This is fraudulent legal documents with diplomas and whatnot. And this also involves a lot of interstate things. Because, like I said, some of these people were in Texas, so then you get different states
A whole
involved.
different layer
and it just
of-
becomes a
yeah.
whole layer, all federal, federal things, states. So
These people knew exactly what they were doing
yeah.
when they purchased their quote-unquote degree.
Well, I mean, they know that they didn't get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to clinical.
This wasn't done under any sort of like falsity from the
No.
school, and they were
There
not.
there are in these indictments. So, like, what I have is pretty like legal mumbo jumbo
Sure.
as far
Yeah,
as the charges. But in these documents, it has alleged that there are emails and text messages between the defendants and those purchasing the degrees with things like, "Could you change my graduation date to this? Could you change the location to this? Could you?" Yeah, like, and that, hello, that's not legit.
No.
Telling them to bring their stamps to whatever to sign off on these diplomas.
Wow.
Like, and we all know that's not how it works.
So there was literal like
communication
about literally falsifying these
The
very
documents.
important documents.
Yep.
Wow. Crazy.
So, I have a quote here from the Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney, excuse me, for the Southern District of Florida. Not only is this a public safety concern, it also tarnishes the reputation of nurses who actually complete the demanding clinical
Well, that's the
and
thing.
coursework required to obtain their professional license and employment.
It completely devalues the
Yeah.
whole industry when we're doing shit like this.
He also stated that crimes such as these, unfortunately, continue to spring up in that area, meaning Florida. And again, not dissing you guys whatsoever.
No, we
Y'all
love you
just
guys.
get in the news a lot.
Yeah, somehow.
He stated healthcare fraud is nothing new to South Florida, as many scammers see this as a way to earn easy, though illegal, money.
Yep.
What is disturbing about this investigation is that there are over 7,600 people around the country with fraudulent nursing credentials who are potentially in critical healthcare roles treating patients. Were it not for the diligence and hard work of the investigators on this case, the extent of this fraud may never have been discovered.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just at such a scale that it is shocking to me that it made it to this point.
Yeah.
That is the scale that it's at. It's wild.
It's truly insane. And some of the things that I've read, like, so part of why I read that New York was involved, supposedly, that I should have validated this, but I've heard it at least 2 or 3 different times, that New York, their NCLEX, you can take many times. You can take it and just keep taking it. There's no like test. There's no like test limit before you have to do like further schooling. Like
I
New Hampshire,
see.
I think it's 3 times.
Yeah, it is 3 times.
I think
and then
it's
you
3
have to
times.
take
So
a
each state,
certain course.
but like you can go to New York and just take it as many times as you want.
Wow. Okay.
So there's that.
Okay.
Someone in New York told me if I just lied.
Yeah.
But I heard it a couple different times.
Yeah.
So again, alleged.
Also, no shame to anybody who has to take the test multiple times, because your girl Kate over here failed the NCLEX the first time around.
It happens.
It is so hard. I will say my APRN boards, I passed them with flying colors,
Yeah,
but
not a girl.
that,
I will say,
that
you know,
NCLEX is tough.
So the NCLEX is a range from 75 to 265 questions. The test version that we have
It used
taken.
to be. So
we
it's
know
not
it's
like
changing
this anymore.
Yeah, we know
Yeah.
it's changing. But back in 2008, when you and I were taking these, it was 75 to 265. Now, some people that got 75 questions, I was in my little test room there where we all had our computer cubicles. You know, they're getting up after an hour and a half, up out the door. They had 75 questions and they're going, oh my God, I failed. Now, 75, it's either you pass with flying colors or you didn't, right? It's like you're doing so bad that no, we're stopping you.
Yep.
then there's some people like yours truly who have to sit there for every single 265 questions for like 4 hours. It's insane. And then you're wondering, I'm sitting for more questions. It's not shutting off. I'm failing because it's not telling me you passed with flying colors. But then I also learned that in our CEU prep course that sometimes there's unlucky people that have to, like, they stopped being tested a long time ago, and now they're giving you sample questions to test these questions for future nursing generations.
Yes.
You'll never know which one.
Nope.
To this day, you never, it's true, right? You never got, well, like, so your circumstance was different because you didn't pass the first time.
Right.
I remember you getting a letter of like what areas.
Yes,
right?
I did. I got a graph of like what I should work on.
But I never got a single thing. I don't think you do if you pass.
You don't
if you pass, you passed.
Yep.
Here you go. Not a clue. So to this day, maybe I was on the yellow line the whole time, or maybe I was an unlucky son of a bitch who got all the sample questions.
I got every single question, and I failed. So I had to have been, I think, teetering right on the line. And they were just like, let's ask her another question. We're on such a tangent right now.
Let's keep giving her a chance.
Yep.
It's all important to what these 7,600 people missed out on.
Exactly. So anyway, we digress.
All right. Sorry, people. But to all the people that are out there that are nurses, they're like, oh my God, I know, right? So U.S. versus Witherspoon, U.S. versus Sannon. So these charging documents describe the Siena College that I mentioned.
Okay.
So those that are involved with that school, it offers a practical nursing program, which is the LPN, and an RN to Bachelor's of Science nursing program. So you can be an RN without your bachelor's. It's an associate degree. But then many people go on to get your RN to BSN, which is what our 4-year school was all encompassed into one. But so these charged defendants of Stanton Witherspoon, Alfred Salou of Burlington County, New Jersey, and Renee Bernandel of Westchester County, New York, conspiring to commit and committing wire fraud. They're saying that these people, all of these are very similar because the 25 people did essentially the same thing.
Yes.
So that they solicited and recruited individuals who sought nursing credentials to gain employment as an RN or LPN. It's alleged that the defendants arranged with Santa. They managed. So Santa is the one who managed Siena College, and that they're charged with by information with wire fraud conspiracy to create and distribute the false documents. Which obviously represented these people as someone who was able to take the test, which they were not.
I see.
So they're alleged to have sold thousands of fake Siena nursing diplomas.
This is so crazy. It's hard to wrap my head around this sort of
I
thing.
want to know, like, who came up with the idea, first of all?
Yeah.
You know, to be like, hey,
Of all
we can make some money.
Degrees. Like,
There's
you
no
couldn't do
healthcare
this-
staff right now.
You couldn't do this for someone in business, you know, sell a fake business degree so you can get that management job. Maybe not literal healthcare when people are, you know, going to end up working in procedural areas and nursing homes with frail patients and in ICUs with vented people. Like,
Babies?
Are you fucking kidding? Babies? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. So the next ones that I have are transcripts for the charges for Palm Beach School of Nursing. U.S. versus Russ. There are a lot of people in this document. I'll just name a few. But so this one was, according to the documents, Palm Beach School of Nursing's objective was to prepare students to meet Florida's license and nursing board requirements to take the national licensing exam to work as RNs. Fine. That's
Sure.
what a typical RN school should do. So it charges Gail Russ, Cheryl Stanley, Crystal Lopez, Ricky Riley, Roberto Lopez. There's many. You can go on. I'm not going to read them all. This
you
one
can't
has
possibly.
the largest out of the 25 is at this school.
Is at that school?
Is at this school. Yeah, which is,
Wow.
I think, did I say it was Palm Beach? Yeah,
Yes.
Palm Beach School of Nursing has the largest people that were indicted.
Wow.
Again, very similar. It alleges that the recruiter defendants arranged with the Palm Beach School of Nursing's owner, Johanna Napoleon, and many of these employees to create and distribute false and fraudulent diplomas. Again, they're all the same. They all did the same thing to get this mass.
Crazy.
I will say that I have here that Napoleon was previously charged by information and has pled guilty.
Oh, okay.
So that's, from what I can find, the only one. He pled guilty to conspiring to commit healthcare fraud and wire fraud, as well as actually committing wire fraud. I'm wondering if maybe he took a plea, because like he's the owner of this school,
So he
to
might have
like
taken a
get the
deal.
rest of them.
Yeah,
because
that
there's a
makes sense.
boatload of names I didn't read.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he pled to kind of help bring this whole thing to
Yes.
light.
Yep.
Like they found him first.
Yes. He
That's
must have
just
made a
my
deal.
non-legal opinion.
I'm sure you're probably right.
The last one I have is for the charges from Sacred Heart International
Mm-hmm.
Institute, U.S. versus Jean, U.S. versus Etienne. Again, this is all very similar. This is a school for employment as practical nurses, so the LPNs. So they indicted, this one involved a lot of Texans, Ludney Jean, Serge Jean, and again, I'm sorry, names are
all
probably butchered. Simon Itteman, Anna Itteman, I'm assuming husband and wife.
Ooh, the plot
Sorry
thickens.
to your kids. Romy Lewis of Suffolk County. There's a name I'm not even going to try. Sorry.
That's all right.
Again, they did the same thing. Fraudulent wire fraud, fraudulent documents to get them to work as LPNs. It's truly just insane. So the broad spectrum of where these people are working that actually were able to obtain a license: hospitals, VA centers, SNFs, the skilled nursing facilities, other types of rehabs, drugs rehabs, assisted living, and pediatric home health.
That's just, it gives me a chill. It sends a chill
Again,
down my spine.
quoting the U.S. Attorney, when we talk about a nurse's education, and this is where I'm going to kind of switch gears to the education standpoint, when we talk about a nurse's education and credentials, shortcut is not a word we want to use.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No. So by purchasing all of these false diplomas, here's what these nurses missed out on for education.
Okay.
Now, each state is different. I tried to find a general one. It was hard. So I just went to find New Hampshire.
Oh,
Since
smart.
that's our
Okay.
home base.
Yep.
Okay. So I found New Hampshire because every state is different. So I wasn't going to look up 52 of them. So here's some things that I found. I think it might have been on the New Hampshire Board of Nursing site, but it was some one of our pages about nursing. So to promote health and prevent disease, registered nurse programs shall provide a minimum of 1,080 hours of nursing classroom instruction and concurrent clinical practice, offering students the opportunity to care for individuals, families, groups, and communities during various developmental stages who are experiencing physiological or psychosocial or environmental disruptions. 1,080 hours.
This is
For an
combined classroom and clinical
Correct.
time, which is so critical in the learning process. I mean, I still remember and access information in my brain to this day that I learned in nursing clinical.
Yes.
And I think probably
So
most nurses can say
let's
the same.
talk. So and the next statement that I have is very, again, word for word similar. The only difference that I have here for New Hampshire is for LPNs. It's 600 hours.
Oh, okay.
And
Yep.
the only change in the wording it has is for non-complex stable situations.
I see. Yep.
Because a lot of LPNs work under RNs
Yes.
and also under the physicians. Some hospitals, again, depending on where you are, and it could change with this pandemic that we've been in.
Sure.
A lot of them previously didn't hire LPNs because, again, non-complex stable situations.
Yes.
But so let's stop and talk here for a minute. So we went to an RN program, 1,080 hours. That's theory, clinical, and labs. all combined. Now, when you're breaking, so theory, yeah, okay, that's the book study, right? Some of the information that we may need to pass the test. But when we're talking like having a nurse at your bedside, they might have the knowledge to put it in an NG tube.
They might have read the book on it.
Do they know how? Have
No.
they ever done it?
No.
You know? Do they know how to sterile technique with putting in my catheter?
Yeah,
I don't want an
exactly.
infection.
Exactly.
Do they know how to have a sterile technique when they're dressing my PICC line and everything else? You know? There's so many
There's
things.
so many things.
I remember one of the things I remember thinking, okay, I've passed our finals, right? Finals are done. But there was one day that I was going to be asked to do 6 skills. And it was I forget what semester it was, but before we could go home on winter break,
Yes,
I
I
had to
remember
pass
that.
my skills exam. And you had a whole slew of skills that you had to study, and they were going to ask you to do 6. So you didn't know which ones you were going to get.
That's right.
And in preparation in our classes for these skills, I remember our nursing teacher going, and this one had to do with putting in a catheter. And I remember her, like, as she's teaching all of us, and she just goes, you just broke sterility. Learning CPR, how to
Yes.
do a code. I remember our instructor going, you killed him, do it again. You know, like,
yeah.
it's just like that you need that repetition. You need that practice.
To
You
be
need
able
all of those
to
things.
apply it in a clinical scenario is an
Yes.
entire different level. And let's also not forget about the fact that you can't just skate by in nursing school in terms of grades.
No.
You have to have a B average or you
Yes.
fail.
Yes.
If you do not get a B average in
Yes.
all of your classes, you fail and you have to repeat the class.
Yes. We lost several people.
Yes, it weeds them out.
We lost several people. I remember, a poor friend of mine, if she's listening, she's going to remember. And, you know, we're talking about our own things during nursing school and taking our tests,
Yep.
right? I remember for our school, it was 80%. You had to be able to go on to the next semester, you had to pass your nursing classes with an 80%. My average was a 79.6.
Oh, God.
And I skated to the next semester.
Yes. And
But a
then-
friend of ours living down the hall, 79.4, and she got put behind. You
Yep.
know, so it's those standards.
Yes.
It's those standards, and that for her and I, that's the difference of what, one question, a point
It
two.
is.
You know,
And a lot of the times these nursing schools don't just offer these every single semester. You have to wait a whole entire
Yes.
year.
Brutal.
It is brutal.
It's brutal.
We could talk for hours about the brutality of nursing school.
It crushes your soul. It's
It is.
meant to.
You and I went to, I think, a very, very, very good nursing program.
I do
You and
too.
I we got an excellent education. There's a lot of incredible programs out there that generates incredible nurses.
It's also how Kate and I met. That's a story for a different day.
Let's just stop.
So it's just like, you know, so this is how critical of the information that they missed, which
Yep.
is why, you know, I kind of give examples of how some people who have been found so far and what certain states are doing, but it's just wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe there were some nurses in these programs that missed that one course,
Oh,
right?
sure.
79.4, they couldn't go on their
Yeah,
last
maybe.
semester, paid the $15,000 but still, you didn't earn it.
No,
It
that's
doesn't
not
matter
the same.
how close you were.
Nope.
You didn't earn it. You did not finish to the standards.
everybody else is held to.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to kind of close it up a little bit
All right.
because we don't know. Again, we have charges. We have the whole broad space about this scheme, but we don't have, you know, I'm sure there's going to be more to come because it's huge. But I kind of I found the statement that came from the American Nurses Association about this whole thing, and it's written very well.
Okay, go.
The disturbing news of a coordinated conspiracy allowing individuals to circumvent necessary coursework and clinical experiences, as well as critical steps in the nursing licensure and credentialing process, is extremely unsettling. Nursing is without a doubt a highly specialized and ethical expertise. You don't achieve this overnight. There are no shortcuts in nursing. Our patients depend on us. It is both a demanding and rewarding profession that requires individuals to be adaptive to the evolving and complex healthcare landscape to ensure the delivery of safe and quality patient care. The accusation that personnel at once accredited nursing schools allegedly participated in this scheme is simply deplorable. This undermines everything the profession represents and stands for, and is in direct opposition to the Code of Ethics for nurses. Furthermore, these unlawful and unethical acts disparage the reputation of actual nurses everywhere who have rightfully earned the title of the most trusted and ethical professionals through their education, hard work, dedication, and time. Like, how many times nurses have been voted the most trusted and ethic professional?
I think they are routinely voted the
Constantly, year
and
after year.
Exactly. And God, that was so well put.
I know, that's why I had to copy it, because it's at the core of the anger for probably any nurse that I know. It's like, I went through the shit, you should too.
Exactly.
And we all hold ourselves to a standard, you need to as well.
Exactly.
So finally, I want to end with something that, because these nurses did not these quote unquote nurses didn't graduate from nursing school. This is something that they missed out on, that you and I did, and I actually hadn't reread it since 2008 when I first said it, but I'm going to end with the Nightingale pledge that is said when at our pinning ceremony, and at every pinning ceremony there is. These nurses didn't say this shit.
Nope.
Which kind of goes to just whatever. I solemnly pledge myself before God and in the presence of this assembly to pass my life in purity and to practice my profession faithfully. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous, and will not take or knowingly administer any harmful drug. I will do all in my power to maintain and elevate the standard of my profession, and will hold in confidence all personal matters committed to my keeping, and all family affairs coming to my knowledge in the practice of my calling. With loyalty will I endeavor to aid the physician in his work, and as a missioner of health, I will dedicate myself to devoted service to human welfare. I almost felt like I should have had my hand up as I was reading this.
I was like, can I
Me?
just...
I'm taking my pledge
where's my
again.
Where's
You
my
know what?
pen?
I might as well have just said I took my pledge again, because you know what? I'm going to pledge that, twice over how much these other 7,600 people suck.
Yes, Queen.
With that, I conclude.
Devin, that was such a good
I'm
one.
angry. Anybody else tell?
Oh, I'm all fired up now. What the fuck, man?
So that is Operation Nightingale. I am sure there's more to come. I'm sure that we're going to hear more and more about these nurses that are going to come out of the woodwork that have been working. You might be good at your job right now. You might have followed that pledge. You might have been doing everything, and you might have not. You might be good in what you're doing, but you didn't earn it.
Nope.
You didn't earn it. You skipped a step, and it was a highly important step.
Yep.
Graduating nursing school.
Like the whole step?
Hello.
That's the whole thing.
The biggest one.
The whole step?
There are people that didn't do well, and they persevered, and they continued and earned it.
I'm one of them.
They did not.
Yeah.
They did not. So I stand by what I said.
Devin, that was such a good one. Also, I am planning very soon, and I know I keep saying it, but I do mean it, to put together an update episode on Dr. Was it Ronaldo Ortiz?
Oh, we got more?
And there's a little bit more on Lucy Letby since we left off. So,
and isn't there more on Elizabeth Holmes?
So there is. There was
Yeah.
a recent development on Elizabeth Holmes. So I'm going to put together an update episode.
Maybe
and we'll
an
talk about
episode
that.
of all of those updates.
Yeah,
where
we'll do
we're
a
at.
whole update episode. Yeah. And we're starting to get a couple more stories and emails.
Yes.
So I'm hoping pretty soon we can do just like a real chill episode about just like reading people's like stories. Like I just want to hear stories
wait.
from you guys.
Yeah,
It's going to be so
know,
fun.
We want to know what you've experienced.
Hell yeah.
And what you've been through.
Yeah.
You get to hear about all of ours all the time.
I know.
So we want to hear about yours.
I'm ready.
So if you want to continue to follow us, Find us on Instagram at MedCrimes Podcast.
You can tweet at us at MedCrimesPC.
You can search us on Facebook at MedCrimes Podcast.
Or if you wish to become a Patreon, you can visit us at www.patreon.com/medcrimespodcast. And it's really cool there. And if there's a whole tier program, it's really cool there. And there's a whole tier program. And if you join, I think it's the second tier that we have it on, then you are a member of that tier for a certain amount of time. You get a free t-shirt. So we just sent out a whole bunch of t-shirts. So congrats to all you guys getting your t-shirts this month.
Yay.
If you want a t-shirt, you should join.
You can also email us any of those crazy stories that Kate said we're starting to get rolling in at medcrimes@gmail.com.
Maybe you'll make the episode.
Maybe.
We love you guys.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming back to us.
Stay safe out there.